Otako'clock. Today we're going to be talking about school. I know all of you love this.
Yeah.
I do.
Only it's school anime, which is way better than actual school.
Because you get to, like, fight and shit.
What? Well, wait, I got to fight in my school.
Oh, baby.
Not with magic.
No, I took boxing in high school. I literally beat the shit out of people.
You didn't get to fight with magic swords and robots, though.
It's true.
Okay,
Just
no.
fists.
Did you get to fight with a giant Gundam? Because
Well,
if not, your high school life is not complete.
we played a Gundam game.
No, that does not count.
Okay.
You have to be in the Gundam cockpit.
Define cockpit, because high school did involve a lot of that.
Well, no, okay.
No.
okay.
You set that up.
Come on, Sam.
No. Well, I mean, if we're talking about it, I could continue the joke, Brennan.
No, let's not. Let's
Nope.
just
All
get
right,
to talking.
guys. All right.
Uh,
So yeah, today we're going to be talking about school anime, specifically why there are so many of them, and why literally everything could basically be called a school anime because everything's set in high school or middle school, which makes things really
At
uncomfortable
least
half the time.
half of any given anime season is guaranteed to be set
I would
in
actually,
a high school
I
or
would-
with high schoolers.
I would actually say more like 70% to be
Oh,
safe.
Yeah.
I was
It's a
like,
lot.
there was one anime I watched that was Seirei no Moribito, and I was blown away at the fact that the main character was a 30-year-old.
That's amazing.
I'm like, holy shit, this never happens!
And to
Right?
make it, and to get, since there's a lot to talk about, I'll give you the quick answer to why that is. They're targeting their demographic. That's all that it is. The majority of people that watch anime are either young adults that wish they were back
Or
in high school.
man-child.
Yeah, that wish they were back in high school and want to date high school girls. And yeah, I'm pigeonholing there, but we all know it's true. Or it's high schoolers. Like,
Yeah.
that is the majority of anime fans. And I know it doesn't
So where does
represent
that leave
all.
us?
I'm
I mean,
a
we're
man-child.
still. I'm 19.
Okay, so
baby.
yeah, you're-
Remember, so I'm in the still basically in high school demographic.
Yeah,
of
no,
this,
you
okay?
have an excuse. I don't.
Yeah, fair.
I'm not sure if that's
I'm
how you
still
want
kind
to
of
phrase
in the
it,
middle,
but,
so
I mean, we're still all in college, so we're still
Yeah.
that demographic of high school and college
Dude,
animes.
I'm 23. I'm going to be out of college here very soon.
Yeah, but you're still in college right now, so.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
What gave you that impression?
Your general appearance?
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah,
I am
but-
scruffy. Disheveled has been.
Yeah,
Right, it's
but
been, like,
I mean, so
hours.
that just kind of means that any good anime, just kind of by default, you just kind of assume it has a high school somewhere in the background, even if the high school only kind of just shows up
Yeah.
As a villain.
as a villain
The-
or
the-
just
the
as
building
a
itself.
backstory. Yeah, but this was not always the case.
Yeah, no, like,
I don't know though. I would
There have
say
always
that-
been some, but it wasn't that always that
did Astro Boy ever go to
everything
school?
was always in high school.
Yes, actually, he did.
Yeah, no.
Astro Boy did go to school eventually. He tried to become a normal boy. That was one of the seasons, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He had a thing. So there have always been high school anime.
There have always
Always!
been, but
Middle
they haven't
school
had an
anime.
overwhelming market dominance.
No, that really started in the late 90s, really.
Late
I would
90s,
say,
early
with
2000s.
Lucky Star, Azumanga Daioh.
Well, okay, so
um,
first of all, we should probably, like, illustrate there's a difference between set in high school and school anime. Where, like, a lot of them have characters that are set in high school and are high schoolers or middle schoolers or college students that is incidental. It's not actually part of the plot. That's just where it kind of takes place. It's a place that's very familiar to the audience. And then there's the actual school anime that talks about, like, opening ceremonies and, like, the school days and, like,
A lot of the shenanigans
sports day
take
and
place
stuff like
in
that.
school or coming home
Yeah.
from school or studying
To
for
specify,
school.
we're talking about one is a defined genre with characters, methodologies, story structures, and
Usually
a
all the
plot
same
that fits
characters.
within the genre. And then the other one we're talking about an archetype. So
Yeah.
in other words, you have the school anime genre, which is very specific. It's set in a high school or a middle
And they
school.
usually are all cookie
They-
cutters of the same thing.
Yeah, they all follow the same type of plot progression. They don't have the same character types. It is a genre. Just like if you watch a bad horror movie, you know what you're going to get.
You know
going
what's
in.
coming up next. Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly what's coming up.
Bitch,
next.
he's in the closet. It's just the way it is. And then you have the archetype, which is a high school character in a other anime. So that's literally like pretty much everything.
Every
nowadays.
isekai
Yeah.
is either somebody in high school
Or
or
a
somebody
niece.
who never did anything past
all
high
of the
school.
Fate Stay stuff.
Yeah.
It's all a high school character archetype.
Pretty much
that is
everything
thrust
else.
into an extraordinary situation.
I mean, even in like Western culture, you have things like Harry Potter, which is a fantasy book, but it's still set in high school.
It's a high school book.
And yeah, let's
But
talk about
it's
this
more
archetype
that
first,
way.
since it's a little bit broader and
Yeah.
why
It's
so
more
common.
defined.
And I think this is because
Spider-Man.
nobody really hates high school kids.
Oh.
Like, they can be
No.
annoying
No.
and people don't like them, but
Don't
when
say
it
that.
comes down to it, everybody remembers what it was like to be in high school.
I
and you can
genuinely-
empathize with somebody who was in high school
I
because you
vehemently-
remember being a little
No,
shit.
I hated myself in high school.
I know
do
a lot
hate
of
high
people
school
who
people.
hate high school, so I don't think that's quite the case. But for a lot of people who are watching these animes, it's something familiar. It's a branching off point
Even
for
if
that.
you hated it, at least you knew it.
For that
I-
extraordinary story, there needs to be like a normal spot to start out with, and everyone had to go to high school whether they liked it or not.
I
So it's that
think-
nostalgia of, even if you hated it, you know what that feels
I
like,
don't
and then
think-
going into the crazy.
I don't think the actual high school setting and characters have as much to do with like the nostalgia. I actually would argue that it's that time in your life when you got introduced to anime. That's the nostalgia that it's keying in on. It's reminding you of the anime you watched when you were a high school kid, which was likely still high school anime. So I don't think the actual high school aspect has anything to do with it. I think it's just a timing coincidence. Because most of us, when we got introduced to anime, was probably around high school.
Yeah.
Nah,
Really?
no, it was like 4th grade.
Okay, okay, yeah, that's fair.
It's
Well,
fair.
I saw Dragon Ball Z when I was like 8.
Dragon Ball Z doesn't
But-
count though, because that was like,
It was like Power Rangers, but
I mean,
better.
but really it's universally common. I mean, even a lot of the reason why it's so popular in America is high school translates fairly well between Japan and America because
Yeah.
mandatory high school is a thing in first world countries.
well,
And
Yeah.
even if there are differences in how that high school operates, there's
Yeah.
still classes, there are still teachers, there's still homework and studying,
So-
and everyone remembers what it was like to do that.
I think all of this
True.
really boils down to basically what a lot of people kind of dub the Spider-Man effect. Even
Yeah.
though they had stories
you're
of
right.
him growing up, of him maturing, of him
High school
moving out
Peter
of
is still best Peter.
everyone, like a lot of the original
Something wrong.
writers still want to bring him back to high school Peter. That was the One More Day arc where they got rid of
Jeez.
his like marriage
That's
and
a
brought
topic
him
for
back
a
to
non-anime
college and-
podcast.
High school
Yeah.
Peter? Yeah, like that's
They
a serious
still keep-
criminal allegation.
No, but they still keep wanting to bring him back to the point where they connected with him. They don't want him to have to deal with all of these heavy adult themes because in their mind it is escapism. So
Well-
why would they want to deal with divorce, marriage,
No, actually,
having to raise a family when that's what they have to deal with in life?
To be fair, a huge part of Spider-Man's problems was a huge part of Spider-Man was the theme of a child in high school dealing with adult problems.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then when it becomes an adult dealing with adult problems, you lose it.
Yeah,
And
it
so they
does.
keep bringing it back.
Yeah, no, that's
So like every Spider-Man movie reboot, he's always right back to where he was in the beginning, high school.
yeah, no, and I think which is a shame because
High school.
because adult Spider-Man has some of the best stuff, like
Yeah.
the Carnage arc, amazing.
But people don't
But that's
remember
beside the point.
Now we're going into our other nerddoms.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
no,
but-
Spider-Man's an anime.
it. And so, it's
True.
and so that's why it's so universal. If everybody remembers it, it means you have something to start with empathizing with the character.
Yeah.
If
It's
you
something to
start the
connect
character
to.
off moaning about how school sucks,
As
like
opposed
90%
to
of
the other
people
high school
plus
Yeah.
are going to empathize with somebody because they remembered that sometimes school really sucked too. And
As
so they're like,
opposed to, like-
oh man, I remember school sucking.
As opposed to like having the main character being like, oh, I've been going through a really tough divorce.
And that
My mortgage.
That reminds people a little bit too much of real life. So that it's a
I
case
have
of
no money this week and I
Yeah.
can't pay rent and
I
I don't
have
have
crippling
groceries.
depression.
yeah. So it's close enough to home that people empathize with it, but not so close to home it actually hits them.
Yeah.
True.
Which is
Oh my
the
God,
case with
I
a lot
have
of-
a mortgage.
Exactly.
Oh no! The thing that was trying to make me forget about my crippling debt problem is just reminding me of my debt problem.
Exactly.
Anyway,
so
school.
Yeah, the school anime genre, on the other hand, as opposed to the archetype, takes the archetype, turns it up to 11,
It
and then
gives you-
turns that up to about 1 billion.
it's like to
And
yeah.
there's always the same characters.
And like we said, this
I like the Moe
genre,
Blob character.
yeah,
Of course
specifically,
you like
this
the Moe
genre
Blob character.
I
started
married
with
the Moe Blob character.
It's true.
yeah, this genre specifically started with things like Azumanga Daioh and Lucky Star, and that is a slice of life set in a middle school or a high school And a lot of the anime just
He's
decided.
trying to keep going.
I'm trying not to start singing along, okay?
Concentrate, man. You're the only one amongst us who's serious.
And so
Usually that's me. What is happening?
a lot of the
You haven't slept
school
like 2
anime,
days?
yeah,
True.
a lot of the school anime genres, rather than trying to do something original, just decided they would copy Lucky Star and Azumanga Daioh,
I mean, to be
specifically
fair-
the characters.
Well, but to be fair,
I would actually argue that Azumanga Daioh cemented the genre, not Azumanga,
Yeah.
more Lucky Star, cemented the genre trope so solidly because of its obscene popularity.
well, it's also
That anime is still fucking making bank.
I know, but if you actually go back and watch it, it's really comforting. Like, it's basically along the same lines as something like Saved by the Bell
It
or
is
something like that. It's not that great, but it's really comforting.
I hate to use the
It's
term,
slice
but
of life
it is-
moe blobs.
It's a sitcom.
It is a sitcom,
really a
and it makes
skit-driven
you feel-
sitcom.
It's a school skit. That's what school anime is. It's school sitcoms.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not necessarily
Good
with,
ones.
Yeah,
with
good
cute
ones.
moe blobs. 90% cute moe
But
blobs.
a lot of high school animes try and integrate a plot, and they deviate
Fail.
from the no, it's
And
just
then they
bad.
get too
most
much,
of
like,
those are
actual-
not great. Yes.
No, that's why I said the good ones are just skit-driven
Well,
sitcoms.
and it's
yeah,
like- It's never that funny, and it's never that intense. But what it is
Because-
comforting, and it makes you happy when you watch it.
I would
And
actually-
that's the point.
I would actually argue that Lucky Star is really funny.
Oh, yeah.
There's
Lucky
some
Star's
good
really funny,
humor
but
in
a
that
lot of
show.
them that are Lucky Star derivatives are just kind of, I don't know, almost
They're
like
soul
meditation
food.
almost.
They're
yeah.
almost like soul food.
It's like
Technically-
eating curry on a rainy
Or
day or
chicken
something
noodle
like
soup.
that.
It just makes you feel
Azumanga
fuzzy.
was a Lucky Star,
Yeah, but
a copycat, but it was.
That was before.
Was it?
Yeah, it
really?
was before.
Huh? I did not. I thought Azumanga Daioh came out afterward.
That was before.
Azumanga
Yeah,
has
but-
better animation. That's surprising.
You know, and like we said, these are really similar. So much so that you get the exact same feeling
Yeah.
from watching
No.
them because you know what's going to happen. You know
So-
there's going
I
to
actually
be.
argue that Azumanga
Do,
feels more
do we
like
want
an
to try to
acid trip.
name as many of the character types as we can?
Well, actually, one quick.
Moe
real
Blog,
quick.
Tsundere.
No, hold up. We're gonna do this.
Wait,
We're gonna
wait,
do this
wait,
game.
real
She's gonna
quick.
say something. We're gonna do this.
Yeah, so I do want to be clear. There are the really intense sort of actual school drama ones, but those aren't really
That's
like
Clanad,
school-
Clanad, Toradora. I would
Well,
argue
there's-
those ones can be masterpieces,
Angel
but they
Beats
can
even.
also fall short.
But
a
there's,
lot.
but
Sekirei,
there are a lot of those.
Masterclass.
Shush, shush, shush. There are a lot of those that actually deal with honest to goodness high school issues and things that people are going through. And they're really tough issues, and a lot of the manga and anime that have those are really good. I wouldn't consider them the genre that we're talking about. The genre that we're
No.
talking about is
I would actually classify those as a drama.
those
Yeah,
are drama.
dramas.
Those are school drama. This is
School comedy.
school comedy, basically.
Generally.
Slice of life.
Slice of
more
life,
accurately,
comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of
where-
slice of life is comedy.
Okay,
So I just wanted to
Mild
clarify
comedy.
that
to
real quick.
differentiate, we're talking about stuff that's dumb, goofy, high school bullshit that we've all seen a million times, and
Yeah.
not, oh, my wife just died from teenage pregnancy in Clanad, and my life is falling apart.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Or like one.
oh, I'm dealing with a person who is severely psychologically damaged from how terrible her parents
Or-
were as in
Right.
Toradora.
Or
Right.
like one of my friends is going through a really hard time because they're in an abusive relationship and I have to help them through it. That's like 15 of them that I remember.
Yeah,
Right,
so
right.
those are
Those
good.
are dramas.
Those are the
Those
school
are
archetypes.
hard dramas.
Those can use some of the genre conventions,
But
but
they
the
tend
drama
not
sets
to.
them
Yeah.
apart.
Yeah, because the high school elements aren't the focus as to where high school anime
It's
genre
the
is the
emotion.
focus. Yeah, no, it's the interaction of the characters that's what we're focusing
Yeah.
on. They just happen to be in high school.
Yeah.
Because
the
that's
high
when
school
the-
thing is more of a setting and a
Yeah.
character thing than more like
Mhm.
what
Because-
it is.
In that case, high school acts as more of like a transitionary period
medium.
where they're trying to learn about themselves, but they also have to deal with all the stuff that they're not ready for, and it's that in-between period before they actually have to make big
Again, it's
life
that
things.
symbolism. The
Yeah.
high school setting and the characters of that age in that sense are used to represent the loss of innocence more than actually being in high school.
Yeah.
It is a
Transition from child to adult.
Yeah, it's just like that's on
And
topic. never
there are
mind.
a good half of all literature in general
Uses
involves that as a theme.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
So-
like it in horrible, creepy ways.
I just wanted to make that clear before we go off naming the tropes
Yeah,
because
so-
we're talking about something completely
So
different here.
I want to make this a game. Let's go one by one and each try to name a character
'Kay.
type or
Trope.
a common trope used in these animes.
All right.
Let's just stick with character types since we don't
This
have
could
all
take
day.
hours.
But
We have 2 minutes.
so one by one, just start with the
Moe
character
Block.
type.
Glasses character.
Small tsundere,
Small tits.
Tall
Character.
tsundere.
girl with curly hair,
Yandere.
Very tall, bustless one.
Rich, arrogant one.
Sports one.
Otaku one.
Taku one. Teacher.
Psychotic teacher.
Weird father character who always stalks high school girls.
Yes!
Sidekick dude who doesn't really know what he's doing.
The white kid.
The super nerdy sidekick dude with the circle glasses.
God damn it, you're right.
The Yankee.
Oh yeah,
Yankee
you're
girl.
right. You're right. The rapper.
The strangely
The
normal
rapper,
one.
you know.
The strangely normal one.
There's always the normal one.
Yeah, there is.
It's just like, I don't get what you all are doing. I'm just gonna eat my stuff in peace.
The one who tries to pretend to be cool and unflustered, but is really just a really silly person.
The secret pervert character.
Isn't that all of them?
No, not
Not
always.
always.
No, not always. Like in K-On, there are
Oh, true.
like clear ones that like, oh no, she's like touching herself to them, and then there's other ones that are just like, oh yeah, no, they're adorable.
So, would that also include the friend?
They even made a joke about that.
No.
Come on.
Would that also include the friend who always grabs the other friend's boobs, or
Yes.
is that a different character?
No, that's a different trope.
Yeah.
'Cause they don't
Because
always-
there's
Girl who is
always-
jealous of the small girl who is jealous of the girl with large boobs.
Yep.
There's one for you.
So I think we need to wrap it up.
Yeah, there are more, but
There's infinite.
like we said, you can name them, and from their design in the anime, you can say, I'm gonna bet she's one of these two kinds
Oh,
of
yeah.
characters, and
Same with
99% of the
magical
time,
girls.
you will be right.
Okay, so not you, but I think we need to go and watch some generic high school anime and make a drinking game out of it.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah,
where we
you
have a
can't do
glass
this.
of beer
Oh.
and we take a sip every time we can call a trope. And we watch the first
Oh.
episode of like 10 different high school anime.
That'd be so great. And then we could do a second
I don't know
one.
you'd make it to 10.
Yeah, no.
Maybe 2, and then
We
you'd
could
be
do
like
beer.
blacked
It's beer.
out.
No. We could do a second
Again,
one.
you'd be blacked out
No.
after 2.
Bitch, have you seen how much I can drink?
I might be blacked
I'm
out
Irish.
too. But no, we should
And
also
fat.
do that for magical girls because those are equally as tropey.
they're really.
We're gonna do another episode on magical girl anime.
Oh yes,
specifically,
because
but-
that's
Yep.
my
Yeah.
secret guilty pleasure. That's
We're-
not so
yeah.
secret.
Yeah.
It's okay,
We're
Sam,
running.
we love
It's
you.
school
Just
anime or
Madoka
mine.
Magica because it's depression.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway.
so that's our episode on school anime. Obviously, we couldn't get to everything because, again, it's like 70% of anime are set in high schools, so we
It's
can't really
literally
get to everything because then we'd just be trying to anime the video. And that's like a
That
6-hour
should be an episode. Anime
doctoral
the video.
discussion.
Anime, the video game.
So,
Anyway.
yeah,
Or
we're
in the house of the video game.
All right. See you next time,
yeah,
guys.
see you all.
Nice.